Good morning to everyone and welcome. We want to let you know that April has been declared National Native Plant Month. And you're able to add a few specimens like milkweed to your garden this spring in recognition of this national resolution. And as always, we want to thank you for naming your device for attendance purposes. And we please ask that you mute yourself as a courtesy to our speaker during her presentation. She will be taking questions and answers at the end that Diane will be through the chat button. So please make sure to stick any of those into chat. Special thanks go to Elaine Pizzarelli, who is taking attendance at today's meeting. And now Betsy and I would like to welcome today's speaker, Kathy Graham, and we ask Diane to please join us for her introduction.
All right, well, hello, everybody. I'm very excited about having Kathy. Among other things, she has a fabulous personality, so you have a treat in store. I would say Kathy's talent for art and design, along with a lot of editorial work that she's done with big name magazines, publishing a book on entertaining adds to a lot of other things that she's done. But anyway, Kathy has a BFA in painting from RISD. She studied fashion illustration at Parsons. For more than a decade, Kathy worked with the late floral designer and event planner Robert Isabel, noted for his unique, lavish, and innovative parties. Her book is titled Second Bloom. It's a visual feast of cocktail or casual cocktail parties, beachside gatherings, festive holidays, and along with her inspirational entertaining ideas and charming sketches of her own, Kathy demonstrates how to arrange flowers, which is our treat today, to create original invitations and even add a sense of humor to every event. And I do understand from Kathy that she's working on a new book, which probably focuses more on color, seasons, art, flowers. And so on that note, I think Kathy will explain a lot about her businesses and her background. So welcome and thank you so much.
Oh, okay. I'm going to begin. First of all, thank you so much for coming to your screen today. And special thanks to Diane and Lisa and all the ladies who made it possible for me to be here at home today talking to you. Okay, I think the best way to start is with a little bit of my backstory. So here goes. Oops. Hopefully.
We're going to share your screen.
We can go here at the beginning. So sorry, it might be a few glitches.
No problem.
Start share.
Okay, start share. Let's see if this works.
There we go.
Okay. And tell me if it's on the whole screen. There we go. And
Yep.
now, here we go. So fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Now that's from one of my favorite movies, All About Eve. And here we go, the beginnings. All right, how do we do the next slide?
This one.
Okay. All right, here we go. I arrived upside down in the dead of winter in the middle of the country, smoking a cigarette to an artist mother and an architect artist father. They literally took one look at this enormous smoking baby and they divorced. Now, my childhood was split between Highland Park, Illinois, and the near North Side in Chicago. I had no idea it was unusual that my parents were divorced. And believe me, in the 50s, it wasn't that usual, but I loved it. And here, sort of, anyway, here are a lot of my childhood influences that show up in my work today. Here you can see I was obsessed with ballet, but clearly had no talent or the body. I loved Barbie and I came of age at the exact same time. And in one of the little Barbie outfits, you'll see, I think she was a fashion illustrator or a fashion designer. So maybe that put the seed in my head. And there I am with my Barbie. And as we go on, so around the third grade, I decided I really did not like going to school. I mean, I really didn't like it. It wasn't for me. So I came up with so many various stomach ailments so I could stay home. One of the cures at the time for stomach aches was belladonna, which is a narcotic. So I would stay home, high as a kite, and draw fashion ladies with teeny tiny waists and watch 1930s movies and fantasize of someday living a glamorous life in New York City. And of course, married to Cary Grant. I went on to study at the Rhode Island School of Design. Oh, just ignore, if you see the date there, just ignore it, but the birth date, because it's an art school, they get all these things wrong. Anyway, when it came time to graduate, I had to decide whether to go to graduate school for painting or move to New York to be with my boyfriend, Hoke, that was his name. A friend suggested, since I loved fashion, maybe I should go to Parsons and study fashion illustration. As soon as I moved to New York, there's Hoke. He informed, and a group of us from RISD, we took this wonderful apartment in Prospect Park in Brooklyn. This is long before Brooklyn was chic. Anyway, I get there and my boyfriend informs me that he is in love with my best friend. There he is again. So what am I gonna do? I'm heartbroken, I'm in a new city. The only thing I could do was move to the Barbizon Hotel for Women, just like in the 1930s movies I loved so much. So here I am, Kathy, that is my middle name, I'm embarrassed to say. Anyway, here I am in New York, there's the Barbizon Hotel, which I really enjoyed. So I focused on my studies and I embarked on a career as a freelance fashion illustrator. So here's some of my fashion drawings from the time. I lucked out and I got this incredible job. My first job was doing 2 Bloomingdale catalog covers. And that followed with 4 pages in New York Magazine's year-end double issue. Now you can see Liquid Protein, Studio 54, all these crazy sunglasses, all these punk rock things. I worked in pastel and my work was kind of kooky and punky. There's Annie Hall, cowboy boots, all of these things at the time. Anyway, it was great. My career took off. I had a loft. I ended up getting a loft downtown. And I worked for such clients as, well, this was a shopping bag for JCPenney's. I always worked in pastel. There is Rolling Stone magazine, Elvis Costello. That's Laurie Anderson for Rolling Stone. I worked for Elizabeth Arden, the New York Times, Time magazine. Oh, for some reason, they seem to really like my work in Japan. And I had a show in Japan. And here I'm on a cover of a Japanese magazine in my loft. All right, this is a kind of funny one. Playboy asked me to do 2 double-page spreads of illustration. I was really embarrassed about it, but I thought, God, they paid so much. I get a call after it comes out. It's my dad. He's at the barber shop, and he says, "What the hell is your work doing in Playboy?" Anyway, it was kind of a funny story-ish at the time. Here for HBO, brand new, there's Boy George and Culture Club. There's, I'm always doing something slightly goofy. There's a fashion thing I did, and we have a poodle wearing matching hat. And here's my loft. I mean, I wasn't totally bohemian. It was designed by Billy Tien from Todd Williams. It was pale pink, green. It was very cool. Of course, at the time, I didn't know it. As you see, I have plants everywhere. There I am. Okay. I'm living in my loft. I'm immersed in a downtown lifestyle. Eventually, I fell in love and I got married. I said goodbye to Soho, sold my loft, and moved uptown to a townhouse where I still live today. Now, I felt like a fish out of water. This was a whole new, unfamiliar world to me. I will mention the man I married happened to be Catherine Graham's youngest son. This was a rather daunting experience for an extremely shy, slightly bohemian illustrator. Since I was so incredibly shy and intimidated by my mother-in-law, who was rather formidable, for years I never said a word. But I was able to meet and observe the great Washington hostesses such as Susan Mary Alsop, Evangeline Bruce, Dita Blair, who's still my great friend today, and I just love her, and she's like a mentor to me. And for the first time in my life, I started hosting dinner parties with varying degrees of success, or to be perfectly honest, varying degrees of failures, and always doing my own flowers. Now, I love flowers from the time I was a child, since my grandmother was a great gardener and involved in the garden club of Highland Park, Illinois, and she always had flowers that she did on her table. Oh, here, this is showing Dita Blair's exquisite place in Washington. That's in New York. And you can see how I'm sort of influenced by her style. Eventually, we got a weekend house in northwestern Connecticut, in South Kent, where I had the most glorious cutting garden designed by the brilliant Nancy McCabe. And here you can see the house. I'd do anything to get that back. Anyway, and there you can see this was one of the cutting gardens I did for my children. To be perfectly honest, I don't think they could care less, but and there's my actual garden, which was on 2 levels, and I loved it. I absolutely adored it. And I had the upper level, I did all in lavenders and very soft pinks and blues. And here was an article, I think, in House Beautiful. And there I am arranging flowers. This is many, many years ago. I was able to meet Robert Isabel, who was really the greatest florist party designer I had ever seen. I met him at my mother-in-law's 70th birthday party in Washington, and I had never in my life seen anything so beautiful. And that's where I was introduced to him. I was really just overwhelmed, and I hired him to do a party at my house. He picked up on my style. I told him I always loved flowers. Oh, I forgot to mention, I stopped working when I got married. So I was doing flowers, I was giving dinner parties. I didn't even tell anybody I used to be an illustrator. I told a few people but who already knew. Anyway, I said to Robert, how do I get better at doing flowers? And he said, come and work for me. And I said, when? And he said, tomorrow. And let's just say that was the beginning of the most wonderful friendship I could ever dream of having. Eventually, Bunny Mellon came along and sort of pushed me out of the place of best friend. But anyway, that's a good one to get pushed out by. So, oh dear. I seem to have missed a page here. Okay, I'll just go to the next one. There's Dita Blair and Robert Isabel. There's Robert. Isn't that wonderful? That was an ad for Absolute Vodka. I was able to do 2 of the Miller girls' weddings with him. Robert sadly died about 8 years ago suddenly of a heart attack. And little did I know, he named me executor of his will. I was so shocked that he died, but honored that he thought of me. Now, kids come along. So I have a son, Tommy, and a daughter, Juliet, a dog, even though I wasn't into dogs, and of course, cats. And there you can see my daughter with a mop on her head. I threw myself into doing kids' parties. There's a little party for Juliet I did. And I always would do the invitations, for their birthday parties. So here's a little spattering of invitations that I did for Juliet and what I did for Tommy, where I have the parakeets, the dog, the hamster. I don't know, the 2 cats are on the top somewhere. I can't find them. Anyway, I do Christmas cards. All right, here we go. Okay, as you see, some time has gone by. And time has gone by, and sorry, not that, next one. Here I am. I've now been married 13 years, and suddenly one day, my husband said to me, I want a divorce. I simply was not prepared for that. There was no seeing a marriage counselor, nothing. I'm out. There's my divorce. I had a lot of fun doing my divorce thing and smashing it. All right, here we go. I should be weeping right now. And these are all the things that I felt when he left me. I felt, oh, rejected, my favorite, which is true, undateable, which is still true today. And as I was feeling all these things, I knew at 61 years old that I just couldn't be angry and bitter. I just couldn't. I had to move on. So I started giving dinner parties, but mostly I started drawing. I hadn't really been drawing, so I'm drawing every single day and painting. And for some crazy reason, I would draw in bed, and I found it very therapeutic to draw with my indigo blue Prismacolor pencil, really rich people from England. So here are the rich people from England and very talented people and a few from France. But anyway, I found this all very therapeutic. And my friend Joanna Coles said to me, there's this thing called Instagram. You have to go on it. And what you need to do is draw every single day. I don't care, put a drawing on every day. If you spend 5 minutes, if you spend 20 minutes, it doesn't matter what the subject is. And as you see, I'm like numbering the days. I start getting some followers. I'm drawing in bed. There I am with my cats. I love my cats. And there's Karl Lagerfeld with his cat. So I realized I had to give dinner parties. I had to do it on my own and just go for it. I no longer, so, it's kind of lonely. So I go on match.com and, well, look at who they fixed me up with. Made sense to me. I mean, you can laugh if you want, but he didn't make much noise and he never used the bathroom. And I entertained some of his friends occasionally. This is the incredible part. Actually, it was only a few months after Stephen left me, I got a book deal. People had seen my flowers and entertaining and my illustration from back then, and Vendome Press took a chance on me. Going through a divorce, as some of you know, is no fun at all. It's very painful, but this was a godsend to be able to focus on a new life. And here we go with my book. It's Second Bloom, Art of the Table. And since I no longer had a husband that I would embarrass with my crazy tables, I could go to town. So I'm going to start here with spring. rebirth, the new beginning. And I would do these long tables, invite tons of people over, and I would hang things from the ceiling that I thought were amusing, such as little hats or tiny dollhouse toilet paper. I'd have sort of odd things on the table. I always felt if I could make it pretty enough, I could get away with doing a couple of silly things. And here we have another table. It's always fun to put fruit on the table. I painted the little lampshades. And this is another thing that I do, which is a lot of fun. My ceiling in the dining room, because it's a townhouse, they aren't very high. So here's a passion flower vine in bloom. And I took a little bit of clear plastic thread, fishing line, and with a glue dot, I stuck it to the ceiling so it would be hanging up during, the dinner, which is fun and you can see through it. And here you'll sort of see some close-ups. Now I start putting wacky things on the table, like a little itty bitty toaster, which was very funny. One night, a gentleman actually took it out and buttered it and ate it. And, a little steak. Then I really started going to town and started, dressing my dolls in Barbie clothes and hanging Barbie clothes from the ceiling, little sparkly things. I'd always put kind of odd little things on the table, like a mixer. I'd buy all this stuff late at night on eBay, all these miniatures, and I wouldn't do too much. So it'd just be just a bit. I was very close to my grandparents growing up, and they lived in Libertyville, Illinois, and they were so great. And they both had false teeth that they would put in glasses at night. I was sort of fascinated by that. And there's why I have the little homage to them. And I occasionally, just to really surprise people, I do a normal table. Now, summertime. Summertime is when go to Nantucket. This was my house in Nantucket. I still can use it 1 month a year, but my ex-husband kept it. But this was my dream house that we did. Well, I did. He didn't really have anything to do it. And here, the roses are magnificent. They grow so beautifully in the sea air. And this was a little playhouse I did for my children. And I gather up all my flowers in the morning and I go to the flower room. I condition the flowers. I'm conditioning the flowers. And this is one of the great joys for my 1 month in summer now, which actually ends in a few years. And here's an arrangement I did, all fresh from the garden. I'm going to talk a little bit about this thing I started doing. I guess it started a while ago, where I collect all these little bottles from eBay, usually in a pale pastel color or clear, so I could put a single stem in each one. I thought of it as doing like a Whitman chocolate sampler. So it's a sampler of all the flowers, but you can arrange them in any way you want. And here I go, and I keep going until I have to leave some room for the plates and glasses. And it is just a wonderful way to do a table, and there'll never be two tables that are alike. And you can go a little bit taller because if it's a single stem, you can see through it. And it's just something I love to do. Now, this was my daughter's idea. I was taking a little phlox, just a single phlox flower, and I got these teeny tiny vials on Amazon. I don't know what they're used for, perfume or little keepsakes. And I put each little flower of phlox in its own bottle, to which my daughter said, well, why don't you do a pattern with it? And here we go. She was very naughty at the time, and she said, why don't you do a pentagram? I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Another table that's in the book, which I love, is so simple, anybody can do it, and that is using fruit. So I get all this fruit. I don't mix the fruit, but I put them in different size glass containers, but it could be in anything. And then I use lemon leaves, $10 at any florist you go by. They're so cheap, but they're bright, bright green. And if you put them around the fruit, they look so pretty. And it's just the simplest way to do a table. Oops, is that another slide? Wait, it's not moving? Ah, there we go. So there you can see, wish I hit this one, sorry. And there you can see a table that was all done with just fruit. And it's fun to just scatter a few pieces around. And now we come to autumn. And for me, it means Union Square Market. I love Union Square Market. I go crazy there. And I love all the wonderful dahlias and roses. And I go back and I do arrangements. Here's my studio, do that little dahlia arrangement. All right, one time at the market, I was so inspired by the vegetables. By the way, I have no idea how to cook. It is a complete mystery to me, but I thought they were so beautiful. And I was giving a lunch, and here I am in my studio. I decided to do a tablecloth with the vegetables. So I'm making little patterns and designs using this, it's a beet of some sort, but I love it because it looks like something out of Dr. Seuss. And I'm making little flowers out of the beans and the radishes. And just there we have a turnip. I made it into an apple. And you can see here, of course, I have to throw a little miniature in. And here, I didn't want it to be too vegetarian, so I put my steak in. And there you can see the table. So this was an edible table that I did for a luncheon. And after everybody leaves, you put a little oil, vinegar, salt, pepper, and you can have a salad. Then I go back and I'm inspired by the vegetables and I do watercolors of them. Also in the fall, I just love using roots and just really the rich, wonderful colors and berries. And here I am doing one in the library. And this was inspired by Constance Spry, a florist from a British florist who was very influential between the wars and started using kale in her arrangements and would do these wild, wonderful, glorious arrangements. The Garden Museum in London is doing an exhibition on her this fall. I hope to get over there to see it. And another fall arrangement. While I was going through this really quite a nightmarish time, I just wasn't prepared for everything that happened with the divorce. There was this one friend who was like always there for me. And he would take me to the theater. He would take me out. And his name is William Ivy Long. He's a great Tony Award-winning costume designer. So I decided to do a cocktail party for William. So this is the invitation. And here you can see a few of the shows that he's done: Cabaret, Nine, and there is Cinderella. I collect 1940s and 50s countertop mannequins. And William decided to make gowns for the mannequins for the party from some of his hit shows. So here he's doing a gown for Cinderella. This was so great. This was from the producers, and it was a costume he did of the Chrysler Building. And that was a very tall mannequin. And here you can see, there she is on the mantle. I decided to do a garland using colors that would complement the black and the silver. So I've got mauves and I mix things in with the garland. I'll put radishes in, as you can see over there. All right, winter. What to say about winter? I really, it's not my favorite time of year, but I throw myself into holiday time where I'm making my invitations, lampshades, packages, Christmas cards. And here's where just had so much fun taking out all these things that I've been collecting for years and putting them on the table. And rather than doing the traditional red and green, I decided to do peacock blue and hot pink. Now you see that my boyfriend Ken came to the party. This was a very unfortunate event. As you can see, he's not wearing much. Now we have close-up little gifts. And I made it a little fantasy. I'd take dollhouse furniture, anything, the kitchen sink. Oh God, there he is. I mean, he made such a fool of himself. He was overserved. We broke up. It didn't work out. And here's my front hall, all my things out. Now, here's what happens in winter. In New York City, it's spring in the flower market. And I love spring. So here I am doing a spring arrangement, just loving it. And all right, a few entertaining tips. I think I just put this in because I wanted to do the collage, but I'll throw in a few. When you're doing hors d'oeuvres, keep it small. Try to keep it very, very small because I'm a little bit clumsy and I love clothes and I don't want to ruin my dress. So do not serve McDonald's. Nope. Also, I always get a little nervous before a dinner or a cocktail party. Another suggestion is don't get drunk before the party. Really, wait till afterwards to put the lampshade on. Okay, now you've gone through my tale of woe and my rebirth, and we're going to come to today. Well, I go on eHarmony. That's all I could come up with. I mean, he looked a lot better before. Anyway, there's a print I did, and I'm very happy here with my cats in bed. This was kind of a scandal. Well, I married my cat Reggie. It caused quite a stir. It was the first interspecies marriage, but you know, it works. What can I say? So here's some of my fashion cards, the candle I did with Nest Fragrance, One Kings Lane I did these botanicals for. These are just about to come out. This is the spring plates for Christopher Spritzmiller. And here are some of the fall plates that are out. Graydon Carter has an online magazine, Airmail, and I was just thrilled that they started using me. I've done about 5 pieces that they put in, and it's called Artist Sketchbook. So here are some that have been in Airmail. They tend to like my fashion work. This is a tiny preview of a shoot I did 2 weeks ago for the next book and the color stories, and I'm starting with yellow here. Now there's my book. When I go out and I speak at garden clubs, my publisher was very kind and did a slipcase that you can't buy on Amazon. It's only for when I go out and I speak. So there's the slipcase. Now, oops, how do we put the film? Now I'm going to show you a little how-to that I did in a minute. Go get your coffee. Okay. Tell me if you can hear anything. Do I do anything? And it's sound on? I thought I would do a cooler palette. Just
Kathy.
soft pinks and lavenders. Can you hear it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Greens. And here we have this beautiful Tweedia. Tweedia is a flower I don't use very often, even though it looks lovely in the arrangement. It stinks. It is the worst smelling flower I've ever come across. It makes me nauseous, but I could put it near flowers that smell really good. I could hold my nose, or I could spray it with some perfume. I'm starting this arrangement in my hand, and that way I can get a feel for the colors. I love that they come in hairnets. I should have done with a hairnet. Here's my recent purchase on Amazon, a Lazy Susan. It came in a dark walnut, not my favorite color, so painted a blue-gray. And this way, when you're working with flowers, it's very easy to go work all around. Going around, I see I have a huge hole here. What's right here? The geranium will hopefully kill off that viral odor. So here's a small arrangement in this beautiful, beautiful vase here. Just love anything that sparkles. And I particularly love glitter, but I will tell you right now, get German glass glitter. And a few stars, just adds a little sparkle.
Have you anything to say to me? Won't you?
Okay, now help me with that one. I think that's it. So I'd like to open this up to any questions you might have about anything. I'm happy.
Kathy, that was, I'm blown away, blown away. We are so lucky. You have brought us an incredible amount of joy and inspiration. If you could have been reading the chats along the way, I have never experienced people just chatting with each other during the presentation to say, this is fabulous.
Oh, thank you so much.
People want to have a party. We've been chatting with each other about how fabulous you are. I have never gone through that before. This and clearly you are such a famous, accomplished person. I feel so lucky.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But it's like there can be, I'm now 67, so there can be life after a 30-year marriage.
Oh gosh, I can't believe this. I'm just looking at how wonderful. She's amazing. She's funny. How fun. Let's have a party. So awesome. I never get these. We barely get one question. Great article.
God, I'm so excited. I'll tell you anything.
Somebody says,
When
great
you're on
article
dating?
on your home on Google, Kathy Graham. We need to invite her to come. Yes, we need to invite her. Okay, does anybody have questions? Everybody's just blown away right now. I'm not seeing the questions. If you want to unmute yourself and ask or write in chat.
I just want to say how fabulous you are. I mean, wow. So creative, so inventive. I mean, just, so much fun, so much flair. Wow. Loved it.
Thank you so much.
How can we get your book, like you said, with that sleeve on it?
Okay, here's what you can do. All you need to do is you can email me how many people want them.
Okay.
Give me their names so I can write something.
Okay.
And then I will get them to you in Darien, which won't be very hard. If you tell me if there are any good nurseries up there, I'll just bring them up. And I'll talk to the publisher and I'll get you the slipcase version, which is sort of more fun than having, it's like comes in its own gift wraps. So
so everybody,
and you can't buy that anywhere. So it's
so I'll collect the names. And how much will it be? What
all right, if you want, you can go on Amazon and get it really cheap, or you can, it's $50 for the slipcase.
Okay, so we would order our own books, but you
would give me the order. I would give Vendome the order. They get me the books, and then I get them off to you. But I'll write something to everybody, personally who.
But what would our
name.
total cost be to get all of that? Each person?
It's only $50 a book, and I'll figure out how to get it to you.
Okay, including the sleeve.
Absolutely, with the sleeve. Otherwise, go on Amazon and buy it. It's much cheaper. But if you want the sleeve, the special gift sleeve that's not for sale, you can get that directly through me.
Got it. Okay, so email me, everybody. Okay, so do we have a question? I have the book, but we'll buy the sleeve. Me too. Oh my gosh, I have to have one.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, this is crazy, this chat room. And then go ahead, Betsy.
If the garden club decides to have a party in your honor, would you come?
Of course I would. In a second. Are you kidding? I love that. I wish I was there in person, so I would come in out anytime. And I really want to know if there are any good nurseries around you, because I was a little disappointed in Rosedale the other day.
Oh.
Well, anyway, you're
big
so
Darien
close by.
Park.
It's really no problem for me to go out to Darien.
Maybe Garden Club, we should have a coming out party at some point in the fall
Yeah.
and
That would be fun. I'd love it.
go for it.
Thank
Okay,
you,
great.
Kathy.
Well, my pleasure. And I wish I had some questions I could answer, but I guess,
Somebody's saying that you should go to Oliver's in Fairfield.
oh, okay, thank you. I'm writing that down right now. Oliver's in Fairfield.
They're really good.
Okay.
I have a question.
Hey, yay.
Yay. Kathy, I thought, I have no words. I mean, I just thought it was unbelievable. But anyway, my question is, when you went from, you were married and then all of a sudden you met that designer at your former mother-in-law's party and you went to work for him, what did you learn from just being sort of a creative person to then being in the floral business and designing? Could you share just, what was the difference, or what was your big takeaway from kind of professionally arranging from home arranging?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I worked as a dilettante. I would show up and think, well, I would go there every day. And Robert eventually gave me a studio because he remembered my fashion illustrations. So I would have like this fashion person, like a model, come in and I'd draw her and then we'd go to lunch. But for the years before that, I would come in and work on specific things. One of my very favorite things, this is while I was married and my mother-in-law was, head of the Washington Post company. I would go into people's apartments and do their flowers once a week. And of course, I'd be going in through the back door, and some of them would go, what is Kathy doing in my kitchen? And others who had no idea, they would the butler would yell at me, get off the rug. So I love doing that. And then working on these big weddings, it was just an event. You're doing 20 arrangements a day. You just kind of go on automatic. And what Robert did, which was so special, is he never wanted every arrangement to be the same. They're all the same themes and colors, but everything had to be slightly different because he thought it was boring to do a cookie cutter on every table. But he could create magic, and he would always challenge me for Alexandra and Alex's wedding. What was her name? The Miller girl and the von Furstenberg child. And it was out at Old Westbury. And he just said to me, okay, you fill the house with flowers like somebody's living there. So I did that, which was great fun. And then he said, okay, you're doing the head table. And I had a heart attack, but I did it. So it was different because you had to work fast, but I can't say it is a hard business. They work so hard. And whenever people would complain about the price, you have to sort of think of all the people, from the drivers to everything that goes into it. And so I just hope all these great event designers start getting lots of work again. But I never really went into the business because I love doing illustration.
Oh, boy.
Thank you.
Then, so your Instagram, is it easy enough? I follow you, but I don't remember how I started to. Do you just go Kathy Graham and find
I'm
it?
Kathy B. Graham.
Kathy
My
B.
maiden
Graham.
name is Bransick, which I like to throw in as much as possible.
Yeah.
My kids' last name, they're grown up, is Graham, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping the next book they'll let me say Kathy Bransick Graham, even though I could never pronounce my own name.
Well, I tell you, I think we are all stunned. So
Thank you.
I'm so grateful. You obviously have so much talent and so much fame, and yet you're so approachable. I mean, the fact that you want to come out to
I'd
Darien.
love to. Are you kidding? I love to. I love that you're all involved with gardens and garden clubs. I think it's one of the things that makes me so happy. I love meeting all these terrific women. I love it. So I will be there in a second in the fall, and I'll even do the flowers, whatever you want.
We have, again, in chat, so many people who are committing to get this to happen. So
Well, it'd be my pleasure.
you just so much joy, even tears in your presentation.
Well,
We
thank
can feel
you.
for you.
Well, thank
you
you.
for doing this for us. Thank you, Kathy. And I hope your assistant Lisa gets better.
She
And
does.
thank
And
you,
I have to
Emily,
thank
right?
Emily, who made
Emily,
this possible, because you have no
Hi,
idea.
say hi.
My anxiety over this was
Hi, Emily.
beyond belief.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
thank
glad I
you.
came up with
And
this.
Emily had
Great
worked for the
presentation.
great Bronson Von Wick.
Yes, I was in event planning too, so I
Oh,
loved hearing all of your thoughts about the flowers.
oh my gosh. Well, what a treat. I'm blown away. Thank you, you
Thank
two.
you, guys.
We are so lucky. We'll be in touch, obviously.
Okay, I love that. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, Diane, thank you.
Oh my God.
Goodness.
I had no idea. She's
It was
amazing.
awesome. It was
And-
great.
And
So-
thank you for enjoying it for what it was, because it's not a typical flower arranging program.
It was terrific. Thank you so much. So fun, so refreshing. And I think we have some plans to make for the fall. So
Yes.
it'll be terrific.
Okay.
And thank you for following up on the book and that
Yes,
whole.
send me your requests and I'll follow through. Okay.
Okay, that's
I'm
perfect.
Diane Schlinkert at Gmail, by the way.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, well, now we're ready to move on to the business portion of the meeting. I think we're all smiling. Please make sure to contact the membership committee for any changes in your membership status. You can reach out to Angela, Mary, and Margaret for questions and assistance. And please note that all the requests must be made by April 30th. It's about 2 weeks from now. This includes resignations, change of status, and reinstatements. And please note that after April 30th, members will be responsible for dues for the following year, even if you change status at that time. We will be holding our annual meeting virtually live on Tuesday, June 8th at 10 a.m. We understand that some members may be disappointed, but even though vaccines are ongoing, there are currently more variants around, and we had to make a decision last month for planning purposes, and safety is our first priority. But please know that we too are anxious to be together and can't wait for continued good news so that we may all meet in person soon. We have a few quick housekeeping notes. If you're in possession of a perpetual GCD award, please contact Janice Shand and make arrangements to pass it on to her as soon as possible as we're getting ready for the June meeting. And we had so much fun including the GCD Helen Rhodes Creative Award here. Janice so nicely sent us a picture, and it's quite lovely and fun to share with all of you. And we have one quick note. Please make sure to check out the upcoming GCA bulletin. Under Zone 2, you will see an article about the Provisional Mather Homestead Planting Project. And we want to thank Leslie McCarthy and Susan Delp for submitting that article on behalf of the GCDA. And now I'd like to bring in Betsy, who has some more club information for us. Go ahead, Bets.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I wanted to follow up on the Founders Fund results for our club. As mentioned in our GCD newsletter, the results of the Founders Fund for our club are out, and our winner is Houston Hospice. It was very close with Going Native coming in second and Rhododendron Glen not far behind. We all look forward to learning the overall winner for the GCA at the virtual annual meeting, which again is May 11th and 12th. So mark your calendars. Invitations to that will be sent out soon to all members. And next up, we have our committee reports. Let's start with Provisional, Susan and Leslie.
So Leslie, I don't know if she's still on. I know she had to leave a few minutes early, but we're moving right along. We had some really good meetings with, let's see, Mather, I'll do first. We're going to be doing our sign installation on April 19th at 11 a.m. So we're going to try to get a photo shoot while we're over there. Watering schedule is up. and met with Heather Raker, who has set up a page on their website, and they'll include our plant list. So we're just refining that with some edits that Margot's helping with. So it's really great. Our library project for the children is moving forward. The info sheet is basically done. The seed packets are all prepped and ready to go. Next week on April 19th, we're going to be doing our photo shoot. And we may employ a lazy Susan. I think that's a very cute idea on the photo shoot. We've got people lined up to help with that. And our final May 4th is our Q&A session at 4 p.m. with the library itself, when they'll include some of the provisionals that are willing to help answer some questions of the children. We've got our logo placement, for lack of a better word, we have our logo placement on the handout below the info sheet. We're going to be wearing GCD aprons in the video, and we're also putting another little label on the seed packet with a GCD logo on it. So we're going to get plenty of exposure that way. Couple of things coming up. We have a botanical jewelry tutorial by our own Betsy Bigler, 5:30 for provisionals on the 13th of May via Zoom. We're so excited about that. We have our New York Botanical Garden trip for the Kusama exhibit on May 19th. That's going to be basically a day for provisionals only. And we have beekeeping beehives mid-May. Leslie Sanderson and Gwen Tibbetts have kindly offered to show us their beehive. They're picking up their new family of bees in the next couple of weeks. And that's going to be very exciting for our girls to see all that. We've had some success with the milkweed. 3 success stories out of the provisionals that participated. And so Juliet Kane knows about that. And the provisional duties for May and June are all teed up and ready to go. And the crossover notebook is done for Leslie Sanderson and Diane Schlinkert. So it's very exciting. Thank you, everybody.
Well, you've been busy, we can see. All right, next up, thank you so much, Susan. Visiting Gardens with Emily and Allison.
Can I just add one more thing? I'm really sorry. Oopsies.
Sure.
Sorry.
You're muted. Susan, you're muted. There we go.
Sorry about that. Both Laura Pettit and Elaine Pizzarelli helped today, just as a correction.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Okay,
Emily?
hi guys. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Technology Challenge Allison is chiming in for Emily and Allison for Visiting Gardens. And we've put out a couple of dates. Unfortunately, we had June 8th as a date to go to the Philly Flower Show, but that's our meeting. So we are now offering Monday, June 7th, or Thursday, June 10th for the Philly Flower Show. We realize people are still a little nervous about gathering in bigger groups. But as we've mentioned, these flower shows have gone to great length to try and emphasize social distancing and, safe viewing for these shows. So we really hope as the time grows closer that you'll reach out to either Emily or I and let us know of your interest, and we'll continue to coordinate from there. The Newport Flower Show, happily, is back in action. And that is June 18th through the 20th. And that's an easy day trip. They're also offering different time slots. There's 10 to noon and noon to 3. So again, we could do it in a day, drive up a handful of us and go enjoy. It's at Rosecliff this year. There's at Rosecliff, there's a 2,800 square foot salon that they're offering, or ballroom, where they're offering displays. They are really emphasizing social distancing. There won't be any presentations or retail opportunities. The Rosecliff retail, I guess they say, is going to be open. But again, this is a quick opportunity to zip out of our Fairfield County zip codes and take in these lovely flower shows. So I really, really hope that you guys will hear from you guys and hope to see you all soon. Take care.
Thank you so much, Allison. We appreciate your calendar help with us. All right, let's go to Lisa and Leslie newsletter updates.
Good morning, everybody. Just a quick note update on the newsletter. Constant Contact has changed their algorithms and their format. So our old newsletter format is not supported anymore, and they're going to a new sort of thinner, shorter format. So that means that we need to kind of change how we present our information. So that would, I would just ask that everybody kind of keep their entries really short, maybe a paragraph or two, 700 characters or less. And there's a really great wordcounter.net that you can, see how much how long your paragraphs are. But I think the important thing is just to kind of keep your information concise and to the point. And if you have like larger amounts of information or a lot of photos, just send them to me at the GCD newsletter or the IT email, and I can put them on the website, and then we can link the website with the newsletter. So the newsletter will be then a little bit more concise, and then you can link to the website for more information.
All right, great. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate your pivoting once again. All right, next we have the committee report for conservation, Iris and Ginger.
Hi. This is our second in our series of letting y'all get to know the position papers that the Garden Club of America has. So a couple of months ago we did water, and now we're going to do waste management. And the small team worked really hard to put this together and keep it short. And many of them are on spring break. So we Laura Pettit volunteered to present the whole slides, and so here you go. Thank you.
Okay, hi folks. Can you all hear me?
Yes, thank you, Laura.
Okay, great. So our team focused on the growing disposal challenge of waste. The GCA waste management paper breaks down this challenge into 3 categories: materials management, education, and environmental protection. Our focus today will be on how to use less, recycle, repurpose, and compost. I'd like to ask folks before we move on to the next slide to hazard a guess as to what % in the US of food is wasted per year. Next. Yep, a whopping 40% of US food is wasted each year. To break that down, a recent article in the Washington Post stated that nearly $408 billion of food grown on 18% of US farmland, watered with an estimated 4 trillion tons of water, was wasted. National statistics show 26 million Americans don't have enough food to eat. Locally, person-to-person reports food clients are up 69%, and emergency assistance is up 178%. Next. What happens to all this wasted food? It's dumped into landfills and rots, emitting methane, which is a greenhouse gas. Globally, food waste accounts for 8% of all greenhouse gas emissions. And if food waste were a country, it would be the 3rd worst greenhouse gas producer after China and the US. What can we do to reduce food waste? It can start at home, beginning with mindfulness of food intake. If you aren't already composting, you can develop a practice of composting, and you can buy a kit at the Darien Town Hall for this for just $25. Meatless Mondays, less emissions and health benefits of plant-based nutrition. Buy local, join a farm consortium and get a weekly share of organic produce, or shop your local farmers markets. Plan before you shop and be smart about food storage. Use leftovers. Next. Moving on to waste management of goods used in and around our homes. The pyramid in this slide represents what is called the hierarchy of needs. The highest % of items used should be what you already have. Next is borrow, next is swap, then thrift, then make, and the tiny red triangle at the top is the percentage of items that you should be buying. A quick shout out for a special thrift opportunity today. The Boy Scouts tag sale is accepting drop-offs. So if you have any items sitting around that you're ready to move on to somebody else, you can stop by the Boy Scouts and drop them off. Next. Another wonderful opportunity to reduce waste and protect the environment is to support Bottle Bill SB 1037. Redemption rates for bottles have fallen drastically over the years and are estimated nationally at 50%, meaning millions of containers wind up in landfills each year. The Connecticut Bottle Bill will encourage redemption by increasing rates from 5 cents to 10 cents a bottle. Oregon passed similar legislation, increasing their rates to 10 cents, and they saw a drastic jump from 64% redemption rates to a 90% redemption rate just last year. Bottles added to this Connecticut bill redemption will also include sports drinks, iced teas, and other non-carbonated beverages. Next. Okay, the grand finale. Wasted food is a serious challenge to our economy, our environment, and to our future global food security. Take a look at everything that you can recycle at our own town dump. Take a peek at the position paper on waste management. Evaluate how you're managing your own materials. Think about how to share with others and go forward in taking green action steps ahead for a healthy, happy, and prosperous future. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Laura, for reading that to us. I just want to give a shout out to everybody else who presented, was part of that. Laura, Sue Hayes, Margaret Eriks, Leslie McCarthy, Patty Von Yenna, and Christy Duggan. Thank you all for helping.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to floral design. Phyllis and Carolyn.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be with you. And what an inspirational presentation that was from Kathy Graham. Just to let you all know, sadly, we had to cancel our April competition, Art in Bloom, due to lack of interest. So I wanted everyone to sort of get excited for our last and final virtual rose competition, which will be in June. The date and time will be announced shortly. The Ikebana workshop will be in April 29th, so we'll have some lovely things to show for that. And last but not least, I think I'd like to announce introduce our Floral Minute presented by Holly Friend and Kathleen Weinstock. This month's topic is a further exploration on the theme of light. So thank you, ladies, and enjoy.
Thank you.
Good morning. We're showing the effects of various lighting on floral design. Daylight reflects the true colors, but the effect can vary slightly according to the time of day, position of the sun, and the weather. Spotlights can bring out shiny leaves and accessories and even glossy petals, such as those of tulips. Candlelight provides excellent atmospheric lighting, creating a mood of romance, relaxation, or excitement and spookiness during Halloween. In contrast to daylight, the luminous qualities of the paler colors are lost in fluorescent lighting. You might prefer to place designs where the form of the flower and foliage can contribute to the design. Incandescent lighting seemed to provide a fairly good reflection of color. Most floral arrangements would work well with this lighting, especially taking into account the warming effect of the lights. Halogen lighting seems to provide a fairly accurate reflection of color and is therefore quite straightforward for florists to work with. In conclusion, lighting can be an important effect of floral design and is important to work with your lighting rather than against it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathleen and Holly. That was a great presentation. All right. All right. Up next, we have our committee report for horticulture, Patty and Juliet.
Hi there. I think, am I on here?
Yes.
Okay. So we had a great showing for the daffodil competition, which, you never know how many people are going to show up, and all sorts of people came out, and we were so grateful, and it was a huge success. And then we had hellebores and some other spring flowers. I was going to just talk about, who showed up and won first, second, third prize ribbons. So for the Division I trumpet daffodils, we had quite a few King Alfred variety, and first prize was Iris Mix, second, Carolyn Langelier, third, Mia Mitchell, honorable mention, Ginger Morgan and Allie Callan. In other Division I varieties, Allison Kohlmeyer came in first, Lois Bayless second, Juliet Kane came in third, honorable mention, Kathy Armstrong. For Division II, which is the large cup daffodils, there were quite a few Ice Follies, and Gretchen Witchy came in first, Carolyn Langelier second, and I came in third. For Division II, other varieties other than the Ice Follies, Ginger Morgan came in first, Lois Bayless came in second, Susan Dolp third, and honorable mention, Allie Callan. And for Division II, we also had quite a few fellows favorites. Sue Hayes was first, Lois Bayless second, and Allie Callan came in third. In Division III, which is the small cupped daffodils, Iris Mix came in first. Division IV and V, we judged together. Juliet Kane came in first. Second, Patty Van Yena, third, Ginger Morgan, honorable mention, Lois Bayless, Mary Rooney, and Mia Mitchell. In Division VI, which was the Cyclaminius narcissus, Allie Callan came in first, Lois Bayless second, Sue Hayes third, Carolyn Langelier and Mary Rooney came in, got an honorable mention. And then Division II, Lois Bayless got a first prize ribbon. Division 11A, Kathy Armstrong got a first prize ribbon for her split cup narcissus. In Division 12, which are the miniature daffodils, Allie Callan got a first, Juliet Kane second, and Lois Bayless third. And then honorable mention for Lois Bayless for 2 different entries. And then for our other spring blooms, Ginger Morgan came in first, Lois Bayless second and third, and then Mia Mitchell had an honorable mention, and Lois. And then we had some spectacular hellebores. Kathy for the purple hellebores, which they put in one group together. Kathy Armstrong got a first prize, Mia Mitchell second, and I got a third prize. Ginger Morgan got an honorable mention. And then they grouped together the other hellebores. Ginger got a first prize ribbon, Sue Hayes second, Carolyn Langelier third, and Iris Mix got an honorable mention in that one too. So we have not picked a date and time for our rose competition in June. We may collaborate with floral arranging, might make it easy for everyone, but that's to be decided. So thank you to everyone who entered and came out. It was a gorgeous spring day and so many pretty, and also thank you to Leslie McCarthy for all the photos. She came and took a lot of photos. It was great. And that's it.
All right, thank you. And let's watch Leslie's movie she put together with the photos.
Oh, great.
Thank you so much. That was a great turnout. Thank you.
Oh, one more thing. I just really wanted to thank Carol Caulfield and Debbie McLean for judging for us. I'm sure they had so many beautiful daffodils in their yards they'd like to show, but we couldn't find any judges, and they offered, and I was so appreciative. So it was really nice that they could do that.
Great, thank you. We appreciate that. All right, let's do our photography. Amy and Betsy, your wonderful presentation.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're all well. Happy spring. We're finally there. Wow. What an amazing group of photographs our photographers presented for this show. It was unbelievable. The judges gave super high compliments to our clerks, Kathy Armstrong and Margot Congdon. They did an amazing job. And if you want to just flip to the next slide, the judges gave our guys a judge's commentation for original and effective interpretations of the theme, which is really exciting. It's the first time that's happened for us this year. And they also gave some special awards along the way, which you guys will see, which is also incredibly wonderful. So thank you everybody so much for participating and creating such beautiful work. So the judges divided the group into two classes. Basically, the first class, I believe, is just landscape. The second class are photographs that actually had a building or an object in them. There is one photograph that they put into class one, which they said was sort of on the cusp, but that's what they decided to do, which was terrific because they were able to give more awards. So here we go, class 1A. Honorable mention goes to Amy Harned with this beautiful, beautiful photograph from Nepal, I believe. Third award to Kathy Logier, which is also amazing. Is this in, I don't even know where this is. Africa, maybe? Gorgeous. Second award to Amy Frazier, also who received the Creativity Award, which is a special award. So congratulations, Amy, that's beautiful. And first award to Amy Cholnoki for this outstanding photograph of the view from her amazing home, I'm assuming in Big Sky, gorgeous. And then the second class, 1B, honorable mention to Iris Mix. Look at that beautiful church steeple that's lit in the background, in the distance, gorgeous. Honorable mention also to Leslie McCarthy for this beautiful calming photo of Pear Tree Point. Third award to Christy Duggan for this incredible photo again, with this beautiful view. And second award to Mary Rooney of this beautiful view from the Ringsend Bridge. And best in show and first award goes to Susie Brewer. Gorgeous. And I would also just like to add that we didn't have enough space to add the judges' comments to the photographs, and I know you all really want to see those, so we will be emailing those out to our photographers. So thank you again so much. It was unbelievable. You guys are great. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep.
Go ahead, Aim.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Betsy. Hi, everyone. Happy spring. I also want to give a big shout out to the photographers. Sunrise means getting up really early. So thanks for getting out of bed for that competition. And also thank you to Betsy for putting together those Google Slides. We are really excited to have our last judged competition in May. The theme is Twilight, a landscape photography. So it's a little easier at nighttime. I am going to be hosting a sunset tutorial by iPhone Photography School on Wednesday, April 28th at 5:30 at night. And I know there are going to be a lot of is May 10th for the competition in May. And the judging, I hope, will take place on May 13th, which is a Thursday. Our goal is to get all the updated Google Slides with awards to the Tech Girls by Friday the 14th. And also June, we have the Rose exhibition. There's no judging. but we will be showing a Google Slides presentation of roses. And that's it. So thanks again.
Thank you, Amy and Betsy, and to all the amazing photographers. And we just want to tell you how much we appreciate all our members who took time to enter the floral competitions and with the over at the Mather Center, and these photographers who took time to join this meeting today. And those people who put their slides together, we thank you so much. We appreciate all you do to make these meetings happen. So again, thank you and have a wonderful, happy spring.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. That's great.